I'm so sorry I didn't post this story yesterday. I had to mentally prepare myself because this is the final chapter, guys. The long-awaited final. And by the way, before we get going, I want you guys to give me your suggestions for characters. I do have to say though, if a character story that I find is less than 10 chapters, I will not be doing it, sadly. I kind of want it to be longer than 10 chapters if possible, but I hope you guys enjoy the finale. I love you all so, so much. You may now kiss the bride, the priest announced as Katsuki immediately scooped you up and kissed you passionately. You were glad that this moment had finally happened as you kissed him back. You both pulled away and had the biggest smile on your faces as the church bells rang. Bakugou then held your hand and walked alongside you to go outside the church, but you were having some troubles due to your most wonderful and biggest yet of the heaviest gown you have ever worn in your life. Cheers and claps were heard throughout the crowd as the newlywed royals had their wedding taken in a central church. I only found out why the church was well decorated on that day, on which I confessed my feelings for Katsuki. It became the annual community wedding was held. It was always like that due to the city having one church, and back then tons of couples had troubles having a wedding. That's why they just did it all together. Flowers here, flowers there, Aries said as she threw petals at your direction. She wore the cutest little white dress with a small flower crown on the top of her head. You'd think that it was adorable if you let her be a princess for a day at your wedding. So, you let her. You're a queen anyways. Katsuki, I'm really glad that this finally happened. And to be a queen alongside you, you exclaimed as you waved back to the people whilst he just rolled his eyes before scooping you up from the waist and kissing you once more. I'm just showing off how you're finally mine, Yen Bakugou. Besides, you were supposed to have that role anyways. It fucking suits you. He smirked, which made your heart flutter even more. Congratulations, Yen and Kachan. Midoriya yelled through the crowd as he suddenly bumped into a brunette girl. I'm so sorry for you, your majesties. Oh, hello, Uchako said as she took notice of the freckled guy who she bumped into. Hello, he stuttered as his face slowly turned red, which made the girl chuckle. Unknowingly, at the newlywed is their parents had actually arranged it for them, including Yin having to go to Bakugou's kingdom, and they truly didn't expect that everything would go to plan. But the thing is that Yin and Bakugou already knew all about it. Flashback. I also want grandchildren, but my daughter has always seemed to like her gowns more than anything, even princes. Your mother whined as she took another sip of wine, and Mitsuki hummed in acknowledgement. Gowns had been going up in prices lately, and I'm sure that your kingdom had been going downhill because of it. But I'll help you only if you agree with me to put our children into arranged marriage, Mitsuki said, which made your mother hesitate and let your father decide. He agreed, and they had put it all to plan. They really didn't do anything much. It mostly Bakugou and Yin would do most of the work. The only thing that they had to do was make Bakugou back to his kingdom to put Yin into despair and trick her into making her believe that he's going to get married to someone else, which didn't work well since Mitsuki had blurted it out since then. Another flashback, because we love them in this chapter. Why are we here anyways? Bakugou asked as he walked alongside you in his kingdom. You are going to get married, and I don't want that. That's why I came here to stop it, Yin exclaimed, her face immediately flushing red. What? He tilted his head to the side in confusion, and Yin found it weird of how he was so clueless about it. people in my kingdom talk about how you're being put into an arranged marriage again. Yin admitted, which made him chuckle. What makes you think that? I fucking love you, and that hag said that she won't put me into those shits ever again. Bakugou said, and you just nodded. Oh, you were enraged. You were sure that when you came back to your kingdom that you were going to behead those awful maids or put them into the dungeon. Who knows? You were probably getting tired going all the way here because of that stupid rumor, Bakugou said, trying to hold his laughter in order not to annoy you much more. Do you have to stay here for a while or go back to your kingdom? I think I'll just go back, you answered out of embarrassment. Did I really just travel all the way here just for all of it to be fake? I mean, I'm glad that Katsuki feels the same way about me, but what the heck? You thought, but suddenly realized that you don't have your horse. Wait, my horse! If I remember correctly, I think I left my horse halfway here through the kingdom. All right, then, I'll let you have the carriage. Bakugou called for the guards, and when they came back, it showed Mitsuki being in the carriage and grinning widely as she got off the vehicle. Yin, it's been long since I've seen you. How has it been? And most importantly, why are you here? Did something happen in your kingdom? Tell me about it, Mitsuki greeted. Nothing happened, Your Majesty. I was just here because of some personal matters. Yeah, Yin replied as she nervously chuckled. I see, but I can't wait to have grandchildren, and the good thing is that I don't have to force it anymore. Mitsuki laughed, which made the two stiffen. Force it anymore? They both said at the same time, and she had no choice but to tell the truth. As compensation, though, Yin had taken Mitsuki's wedding gown and used it for herself on the day of their soon-to-be wedding. Mitsuki didn't mind the one bit, so she excitedly gave it to Yin without any problems. End of Flashbacks. Really? Grandma did that? Although I still can't believe that you two were put into an arranged marriage. Your daughter explained as she carefully listened to the story that you're telling her as her bedtime story. I couldn't believe it either. Yin chuckled as she tucked her daughter into her bed. Mom, when I grow up, I want for you and Father to put me into an arranged marriage, she exclaimed, which you raised an eyebrow at her. Really? Although I don't think that's necessary since we don't want to force you into those types of things. But I'll ask your father about it, just because you want to. Yay! She cheered, which caused you to lit up a little smile. Now sleep tight and sweet dreams. If you can't, count on how many crowns I had since I was a child, you said as you kissed her forehead before you stood up. Yes, Mother, she nodded before going to sleep. You watched her do so as you got out of the room and closed the door behind you. Yin, a voice suddenly said behind your back, which caused you to creep out, but reveal only to see that it was your husband. Ah, Katsuki, don't startle me like that. Stress is bad for the baby. You scolded him as you held your big tummy. I'm sorry, but is she already asleep? Katsuki asked as he looked through the door and you nodded. Yes, I just put her to sleep, and she also told me to put her into an arranged marriage when she grows up because she wants to be just like us. Crazy, right? You replied, giggling ever so slightly. I know, but why? Unless she wants to run for miles because she thought that a certain someone that she fucking loves so much is going to get married to someone else that isn't even true. He laughed as he knelt to your stomach level to hold the baby and kiss it a couple times. But what he just said caused you to cringe at the memory. Katsuki, you groaned as you playfully hit him a couple times. I'm fucking kidding. Why don't we take a rest too? You must be tired, Katsuki said as he stood up and extended his hand. You nodded as you wrapped your arm around his and walked around as you both went into your shared bedroom. I think I'd love that. Let's go, but don't ever say that again or else I'll arrange a beheading session for you. You threatened teasingly, but he just shrugged. I don't think that's going to happen anytime soon. You know you love me. He grinned, which caused you to playfully roll your eyes. I do know that. Yes, I do. And that is the end.